This is Rachel Dworkin from the Chemung County Historical Society. Today is September 7th, 2020. I am here interviewing.
I am Mikayla Newton. I'm a reporter and anchor for WETM.
Okay, and this is for the COVID Memory Project. So, how long have you worked at WETM?
So I've worked there for almost a year now. It'll be a year on September 30th.
So, how has reporting the news changed as a result of COVID?
Yeah, so it's definitely changed drastically. I mean, obviously, like we're sitting here with masks on, and just like that in itself has been kind of difficult. I'd have to do live shots in masks sometimes just to make sure that I'm, maintaining social distancing from people and, making sure that people are healthy when they're around me. But I think that also it started off very interesting because when it first hit, we were at a loss for news. Like there was no news at all, and we were trying to figure out how to adjust to it. But going down the line, then there was a lot of news coming out. So it was like a really a learning curve for everyone, I think. And there was also a point where we did work from home for like almost a month. I think it was like a few weeks to a month. So I had to like really learn how to work from home, edit from my my laptop, and then getting it into the station and doing all that. So it's been interesting. Also with like anchoring at the desk on the weekends. Normally I would sit at the desk with my meteorologist, but we had to kind of like social distance and kind of create that as well. So it's been very interesting to say the least.
Okay, so what kind of working from home were you doing? Like reporting, editing, all of the above?
Yeah, all of the above. So with my laptop, we have this thing called Bit Central. So that's where we can get a lot of our file VO, also known as like our video and things like that. And then we also had something called EMPS where we would go in and write our scripts and things like that. Bit Central also helped me edit. So I would use my own personal camera from home. I would like do what are called my stand-ups from home, sitting down like in my room. Then I would edit using Bit Central, putting in the file VO, writing my scripts from home, and then essentially the people that were at the station had that, and then they would upload it for it to air later on.
Okay. So you were saying that there was like a dearth of news to report initially. Was that because everyone was just like huddling in their houses? So what changed? What was the new news story?
So if I can recall, so when it first started, I think, the economy shut down. So everybody had to stay at home. Everybody was quarantining and everybody was out of work. So at that point, it's kind of like, so today's Labor Day. It would be like a Labor Day, like, throughout the entire month. So we would be like, okay, there's nobody at work, there's nobody in the stores, there's nobody for us to interview. People don't want us to come interview them, vice versa, because we were all afraid at this point. So then going forward, when I think people understood what the coronavirus was, and I guess as far as like the economy shutting down or opening back up, then we would have more news as far as what businesses were going to do and, people losing their jobs, the economy, I guess, shutting down, people losing their jobs. So it would be more of like the economy news.
You guys covered the protests?
Yes. As far as like the Black Lives Matter protests, yes. So once the coronavirus once it was like the coronavirus and then Black Lives Matter protests, we started covering that more. And then it was kind of just like uphill from there. So it was like no news, then a whole bunch of news. So it was all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you guys sort of settled into a new normal? You have new standards and procedures. Could you tell me a little bit about what those changing standards are in addition to like masks?
Yeah. So in addition to masks, they gave us like a bunch of different equipment for us to use. So we have like this, it's kind of like something that you use for painting. So they used like this extender thing for us to put our mics in so that we're staying away from people. What else? They gave us like wireless mics. Like I said before, we have to like distance ourselves from other anchors or people within the station. People can't come into the station like how we normally would have guests in the studio. We don't really do that anymore for right now. Obviously, I'm sure it'll change later. What else? What else has changed?
Do you guys do like staff meetings? Do you still have that?
Yeah. So okay, that's another thing that actually. When we were working from home, we would do phone conferences at first. So we would call into the number. We would have our morning meetings that way. But then once people started coming in, they're like, okay, now you have to wear your mask around the new station. And then we started to do our normal back, in-station meetings. So at first it was phone, and now we're back.
Okay. Has the pandemic affected you personally in any way other than like in your work life?
Personally, I don't think it has necessarily affected me personally. I don't really know too many people that has gotten it or people that have tested positive or anything like that. But I think mentally, because this is my first year starting my career and starting it with, the coronavirus pandemic and, a bunch of Black Lives Matter protests, it's been a lot. But I think it's, in a way, a good way because I've started my career strong. So I think
Trial by fire?
Yeah, definitely. So I think that's one of the things.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for talking to me. If there's anything else you'd like to add?
I think this is just definitely an interesting year for like everyone, and I think it'll be interesting to see like where we go from here moving forward. So.
Okay. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.